Okay. So now that I reread the first part, I totally was going to talk about my classroom inventory music, but
Oh,
now I'll talk about mine.
yes.
I do not have an inventory of music because I just listen to like Pandora and Spotify. So
Mhm.
my variety of music is completely mixed. It goes all the way from some easy listening music. It might go right into country, all the way to like rap. So I feel like it's easier for me to say what I don't like, and what I don't like is like the heavy screamo rock music.
Mhm.
Um, and the reason I say that I don't like that kind of music is I feel like it makes me feel overwhelmed, anxiety, and angry. So if I was angry, I might turn that on. Um, the second part, um, my first little boy, when I asked him if he could tell me about his favorite music,
Oh.
he told me it was Pink Floyd and Elsa, and he had a Pink Floyd shirt on.
Oh, wow.
He's 4. And when I asked him why he likes that music more than other types of music, he said, because my grandpa's grandma likes it. And then I asked him what his favorite song was and if he could sing it. And he said, well, I really don't feel like singing right now. So I'll just say, let it go. So I'm assuming it was from Elsa. And I asked him, what do you like to do while you're listening to music? And he said, dance. It lets me relax in a high places. The second little boy said he likes the music from the movie The Three Ninjas, which I feel is from like the 80s.
Mhm.
Um, and then he just kept talking about a little boy named Rocky Colton Tum Tum. And so I actually had to do some research on like the type of music that it was. And I am not going to be politically correct. It's either like a Japanese, like techno type music, or like Chinese techno type music. Um, and he said that he likes it because he said, because I like it and it says what I like. And I said, okay.
All right.
And then I asked him if he could sing his favorite song, and he just started saying, Rocky loves Emily. Rocky loves Emily. And I think that's when the older two brothers are making fun of the little brother from the movie. And I said, what do you like to do while you're listening to the music? He said he likes to go outside and play, or sometimes it makes him feel like he's outside playing. My third one, she said she likes school music. And I said, well, what kind of school music do you like? And she likes Berkner. It's like
Mhm.
the Goldfish song is her go-to dance song in our classroom, but she really likes the ones that really pull in the interactions. Um, and she said, I like it because it's fun. I asked her if she could sing me her favorite song, and it was a hard no. And I said, what do you like to do when you listen to the music? And she said, dance. And the last little guy, I asked him what his type of music was that he likes, and he said, I like rock and roll. And he said, like We Will Rock You. So I said, okay. And I said, why is that? Why do you like that better than um, other music? And I named some more off for him. And he said, because it's my favorite and that's my favorite song. So I said, can you sing me your favorite song? And he started singing We Will Rock You, which is funny because I turned that song into an ABC song. Since both of my classrooms like that, I just kind of turned it into the ABCs, but then they still get to say the We Will Rock You part. And he said he likes to dance and sing. And when I was thinking that this was about my classroom collection, I was going to throw in there that the largest collection that we have is Jim Gill and Lori Bertner. And the reason that we choose to pick those types of music for our classroom is because it offers a lot of language, a lot of acting, dramatic, a lot of language skills, movement. It's just a lot. I mean, there's math in it. and everything. So I think you can almost hit every domain just by listening and interacting with one of their CDs when you pop them in.
For me, for my music taste, I kind of like a little bit of everything. I definitely like more like contemporary music. I'm not super big into country, but like I do know some country songs, I guess. I do have a playlist on Spotify that has like all of the contemporary music that I like that's current now. And then I have like throwback music from like the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. And then I have like emo early 2000s with like Paramore, Fall Out Boy and stuff like that because that's what I used to listen to in high school. Um that's kind of where my music taste falls. I also have playlists for like my students on there for like younger kids, and that has all my Disney music and like all like kids movie music. That's generally what I listen to. Like I don't like all those 4 or 5 playlists. That's the only thing I listen to. I don't listen to anything else. Um, when I was interviewing my kids, so I interviewed 4 of my preschoolers, my pre-Kers, and then to see like the side-by-side comparisons, I actually interviewed 3 second graders that I know. Which is kind of like interesting to see like the comparison. So like 2 of the girls that I interviewed who are both 5, their favorite songs are from Frozen 2 or Tangled. When I asked them why they liked those songs, they were like, oh, it's because one of them was like, oh, well, I like the show and I like the movie, so I like the songs in it. And the other one was like, well, I've seen it so many times that I just know all the words. Those 2 girls, one of them didn't sing me the song because she giggled and got a little embarrassed. The other one sang a song from Rapunzel, which is if you guys have seen the movie, the song that she sings when she brushes her hair. For all of 3 that I interviewed from pre-K, what they do while they listen to the songs is they all said that they sing and dance along to the songs. Very typical of my preschool students. And then 2 of my preschoolers, one of them like Smooth Like Butter by BTS. That's her favorite song. And she said, because I love it. And she like screamed it at me is the reason why she likes that song. Another girl, Ivy, her favorite song is Run by Taylor Swift. She said she just likes it because it's very fun. Which then I interviewed Ivy's older sister, Lucy, who's in 2nd grade. And Lucy also said that her favorite song was Run by Taylor Swift. Her reasoning for that was, she says, because it's soft, it's a soft song and it's not a rock and roll song. I interviewed another girl who said that her favorite song was Love and Happiness, which is from a musical. And when I asked her why that was her favorite song, she said that it's because she's currently in that musical through the Park District. And she, out of the 3 second graders that I interviewed, she was the only one that sang to me. So she sang me Love and Happiness. And then the third second grader, her name's Sophia. She said that her name was Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish, which in my head, I was like, okay, girl, who hurt you? Number 1. And then she told me why that was her favorite song. Because the older ones, I had them like actually write down the answers. And she says, it's not my favorite song. I just panicked. So it's kind of interesting to see like the development from the pre-Kers for all of their Frozen and Rapunzel all the way to my second graders who like more contemporary music. I thought it was super interesting. And that's why I have 2 playlists, one generated more for my pre-Kers So that has all the Disney music, and then one for actually my older kids, that has older songs on it. So it has a lot of Taylor Swift and stuff. And the girls actually like to do things while they listen to music. So one of them says they watch YouTube while they listen to music. One of them says she sings because she's in that musical, and then the other one says that she plays like games online. So they actually have things to do while they listen to music, not just sing and dance. The end.
Nice.
So in my classroom currently, unfortunately, I work with someone who is not very inclusive of me giving ideas and things. But in the past, in my past classrooms, I don't really have an inventory of music per se, but just like Marissa and you, Tessa, like I just kind of go off of playlists or whatever the mood is at that time. So that can be anywhere between a Go Noodle or like a specific artist or whatnot. A lot of Kids Bop, you know what I mean? Because like for the age level, you can't really play like, you know, the ones with the words or whatever, even though like some of these kids like actually listen to this and I'm like, whoa. But yeah, so there's not really much of an inventory, I would say, on my own. But then as far as like interviewing my students, I'm in preschool. So I'm in preschool, but they act like they're, you know, kindergarten, first, second graders. So there is a lot of JoJo Siwa lovers. And I tell them about the JoJo that I grew up with, and they look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, yeah, it's a different JoJo. And like, I actually showed them one of the songs and they were like, oh, this is nice. So JoJo Siwa, I recently had another student. She told me that she's dancing to Spice Girls, Spice Up Your Life in one of her dance classes. So she now has me play Spice Up Your Life every day during recess, which is everything to me because I also love this little girl. She's like my favorite. I know you're not supposed to have favorites, but I do. She's literally like my favorite kid. And the fact that she's dancing to Spice Up Your Life, I love it. I put it on and she's just dancing on the playground. I dance with her because I remember the moves like from the movie. And so it's really fun. So a lot of JoJo Siwa, Spice Girls. What else? They like that song. I don't even remember what it's called. I should, but I hate it. So it's like, I want to take my horse to the old town road. That one.
Oh,
Down with that. But they love it. So like, yeah, so I would say that one. And then also the taco, It's Raining Tacos. I don't even know if that's by an artist. It's Raining Tacos. They like Pharrell, Happy. So it's like a whole like spectrum of different music, but I mean, they just like to dance. They like to get the wiggles out. They like to be active. If I'm looking like I'm having a good time, they're having a good time. So like we vibe off each other's energy. So that's kind of where the music and movement is at in my classroom. So
yeah, I kind of feel like the same thing. And then I guess for like my music taste, I feel like I'm kind of all over the place. Like I like a lot of like oldies, I like 80s, and then I like throw back to like the 90s, you know, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, all those times. And then I also like hip hop nowadays. Like I like listening to like the radio. And then when I went to school, it was like all country. So it's kind of like forced to like country. I do like rock because that reminds me of my middle school days, and I love a good rock concert. So I kind of listen to anything. And then my kids kind of listen. So it's a little different because like I'm in like a structured classroom. So the students I work with like are have autism. So when I ask them, I might give them like choices, or like some of the kids are more like verbal. So like I'll ask them about their favorite songs. And a lot of kids in my class, they like Frozen, so they like Let It Go. And then they also really like Moana, You're Welcome song. I have a student like who sings that all the time. And then it's really cute. Like my students will just like randomly like start singing. Like I have a student like who will just sing like any like Disney song, and he'll kind of like change his voices throughout. And then yeah, I would say like the same thing about like their music tastes. Like I have a few kids that listen to like more like today's music, like Kids Bop. And then I even have some kids who listen to more like younger stuff. So like ABCs, Wheels on the Bus, But I would say mostly like Disney, and then the kids would just tell me about the songs, and they would say, I asked a few kids to sing, some did, some didn't. They kind of like looked at me and they just talked about how I gave them some choices, and they talked about how the music made them feel. So I would like play kind of just different loud songs, fast songs, and they would say, it made them feel happy or maybe like tired. And stuff that we do too is like we actually go to music, and then we have like a music therapist that comes. So like we do interact with different like instruments. So they interact with like drums. And then she has like some different like what's it? It's like a triangle, and then like the shakers and stuff for them to use. So yeah, and a lot of them I would say just like Disney. So
With for me, my music inventory is very vast. I mean, I was born in 69, so I grew up listening to all the music from the 70s, 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way up until now. A lot of R&B. Then there was also some Journey thrown in there, some Foreigner. So because my sister's like 15 years older than me, so I got to hear and my brother was older, so I got to hear like a whole spectrum of everything. And so I mean, for me, it's like blues, R&B, then soft rock music. Like someone was saying, the heavy metal stuff just I cannot at all. But I did like in the 80s, I did like Billy Idol, Adam Ant. I liked Poison. I mean, who didn't like Duran Duran? Who didn't like listen to Living on a Prayer? I was like, that was to me, that was like everything back then. So, and I still, even now when I hear it, I'll start singing and my daughter looks at me like, what are you singing? I was like, you just don't know. This is when music was music, my friend. This is when music was music. For my kids, they like, so just an inventory of my kids, just thinking about it. They love, I have one friend who loves, we don't talk about Bruno. And so when I asked her why, she's like, because I like the movie. And another, she said, I asked her, I said, well, what do you do when you hear it? She's like, I like to dance and sing. I said, can you sing it? And she started singing, we don't talk about Bruno, no. The other student was, their favorite, they like Gummy Bear. I'm a Gummy Bear. And so I asked them why. It was like, because it's fun. And they started to sing it. Oh, I'm a gummy bear. I'm a gummy bear. And they started jumping around. I was like, why do you like the song? It's like, because I get to jump up and down, Miss Carmen. And then my last student loves the song Tootie Top, but not the regular song, Jack Hartman. They like Jack Hartman's hip hop Tootie Top. Because we watched the video and they was like, no, I don't want this one. I want the one with the hat. So then I like, oh, okay. So when I looked for the one with the hat, I was like, oh, okay, it's the hip hop Tootie Top. And they said because it's a funny song. And of course they could sing Tootie Ta, Tootie Ta, Tootie Ta Ta. And I was like, what do you do? So then he started demonstrating. He put his elbows up and put his thumbs up, his elbows back, and he's bent his legs and started turning around, singing Tootie Ta, Tootie Ta, Tootie Ta Ta. So I mean, that's one thing that I do like, that they like more of the kids songs, whereas some kids like the more adult songs sometimes. But for the most part, these kids are actually listening to kids songs. So I do credit their parents with that.
Jack Hartman has a lot.
Yeah.
Where's that? So I think I misread the question. But when I did my inventory of my music collection, I did it in my classroom, not like my personal music collection. Like I more so thought of it like I have a lot of drums and maracas, like a lot of instruments instead of like some people use like scarves and stuff like for their musical things and this and that. No, I have a bunch of drums, and so I think I did that wrong. Because that's what I went with. I said I have a lot of maracas and drums. So I wrote down then though, like if we're talking about like what I like for music wise, it's I was really big with the Beach Boys when I was little, and ABBA, because my grandparents loved it. So it was a way that we connected. It was like the oldies kind of music for them. But then also like if I'm working out and I want to be feeling a type of way, I listen to Meg the Stallion, like Mama's Coming Out to Play. Okay. So there's a lot in between there, but those are my main ones. Or I'm feeling a little funky fresh. I'm going back to the All American Rejects days. I've got all 4 of their albums ready to go at any time of day. So it just all depends, right? So when I was interviewing, I didn't get to do the correct real age group, but I did 3 to 5-year-olds. There's a couple 6-year-olds. I did it in a group setting. I didn't do the one-on-one because sometimes if I ask them one-on-one and I'm not in my classroom, I have to go to a different room. They kind of look at me like a deer in headlights, like, oh. So I felt like asking them more than one, it helped ease it a little bit. So it was all girls. The boys did not want to come and talk to me. One little boy was reluctant. He ended up coming over eventually, but it was all girls besides the one boy. Encanto was the crowd fave, followed by Turning Red song, Never Gonna Make You Cry. Oh, and kids could not sing the songs. They're like, oh, I side. Oh I so they didn't really have that down. But still that's fine. Encanto, one little girl said that she loved Encanto, then they're like, me too. And then she's like, except not the mariposas. So a little taken back, but there's one sad song in the movie and it's about butterflies. You got to let them go, let them be free so they can develop and be their own. And it's in Spanish. So I think I don't know, but it's a very mellow song. She knew the gist of it. So they were kind of vibing with those. The little boy did say Coco. I said, "Oh, from the movie Coco," and he goes, "Yeah, Daddy." And I was like, "Oh, Daddy, what?" And goes, and he started laughing. I go, "Sing some to me," and he goes, I," because at the beginning he goes, "I." So he goes, he couldn't, it was cute. I asked why they like those things. The typical answer was the sisters or brothers did it, or it was silly. They enjoyed dancing and playing to that music and cleaning with mommy, one little girl said. So his mama's blaring some tunes as they're cleaning up their house. I did this during like a casual time. I didn't want to like separate them or anything, but it was just like, hey, come talk to Miss Crystal, who wants to answer some questions. So I try to keep it really nice. I like to use directional music. So Jack Hartman, the Jim Gill, I like to do the tip. It's like do 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 shh do 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 do, and they're like tiptoe, and then they're like, now can you recall what we just did, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. And it's like do do do, but these kids, they know, oh, that's the music, so they're being able to recall and collect information. So I think that that's pretty neat, that they're doing that.